Yeah, it's my pleasure today to say hello to JM, who is the CEO of Vicarious. Hi, nice to meet you, JM.
Nice to meet you too, Sebastian.
Thanks so much for your time, and I'm really looking forward to speak a bit more with you about your virtual reality app, Vicarious. Well, it is not even out yet, it's still in beta, so could you please tell our viewers what is Vicarious all about?
So, Vicarious is a social media app built for VR from the ground up. Um, it's very familiar. It feels very familiar, yet it's something very new because this is a social media app for VR, where on the platform you can create and share snippets of your life using 2D photos and videos, 360 photos, text, audio, whether that's music or narration that you have on your device, or a preview track that we supply for music. You can then also add embellishments that are coming into the app. The build that you got doesn't have these stickers that we are packaging up with the app, or the environments that we sort of think about environments, 3D environments, as a way to sort of help you express a certain mood given the environment that you're in. So you would mix these environments with your media to modulate the emotional tone of your post.
Cool. So, if I would have to summarize your app into one sentence, how would you summarize it?
I would say it's a social media app for VR. That's really
Okay.
how we refer to it. I think what we can get into a little bit in more detail is that what's unique about our app is that it's a hybrid app. So you can open it up in VR. You can create, you can consume, you can like, you can follow, you can block, you can flag other users. You can build up your network. But what's truly unique about what we're doing is that when you open the app from the Android launcher outside of VR, it opens up just like any mobile 2D app would. And so for us, that accomplishes two things. Number one, because it opens up like a mobile 2D app, it remains accessible. People don't have to get into VR and then have a higher tolerance to figure something out with the Daydream controller. But right out of the gate, because everybody already knows how mobile apps work, the learning curve is really, really, it's very flat.
Mhm.
You can jump in there, or steep rather. You can jump in there, and if you know how to use Instagram or Snapchat, you can pretty much figure out relatively quickly how to create something on our platform.
True.
The other thing that it accomplishes, the second thing that it accomplishes, is that VR is really, to get into VR today, if you're going to engage in anything, it's really for when you have time set aside. At the end of the day, after school or after work, you have time to jump into VR, put the headset on, and go in. Because we're a social media platform, and we're really, the notion behind our platform is we want people to be in there sharing their human experience. And the best way to do that is to be able to capture, snippets of your life as they unfold, and be able to do that in the middle of the day. So for our app, you can engage with the app in 2D mobile form, in the back of an Uber while waiting for coffee, on your daily commute to work on the train. This is important because we have to remain accessible. And our thesis in building this product and how we're going about building it boils down to the idea that we need to bridge people from where they are today with the behavioral patterns and the technology that they have right now and into the future of VR.
Hmm.
A lot of people look at VR and they say, oh, it's actually so easy to use. It's very intuitive. But I tell you, if I put my mother in an HTC Vive and handed her the controllers, or even an Oculus with the touch controllers, and said, hey, go figure this out, she's going to have a hard time. It requires somebody who has a passion and interest for it to be patient with it. But if we hand my mother a 2D app, mobile app, she can immediately figure this out. If I hand it to my daughter, who's 9 years old, she can immediately figure it out. And so
Cool.
we need to bridge people from where they are now into the future of VR and AR.
Great. Yeah, actually, I have just tested it out. I'm part of your beta testing program, So before this interview, I had
Oh, I'm excited.
before this interview, I had like probably 15 minutes to check it out. And you're right. It was very easy to get around. I directly knew what's going on here, like other people's stuff and watch their stories, and also bring up my own stories. So that's really cool.
Oh, that's
Basically,
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, great. I'm
it's really
excited to
cool.
see what you publish. That's cool. Awesome.
Yeah, I have just uploaded a story. You can check it out later, probably.
Oh, I can't wait.
You
I
can
can't
follow
wait.
me on Vicarious.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so basically, my first feeling was, all right, this is, yeah, just like you said, it's a social media app for VR, where I can consume the content within VR. Basically, this is something that's really interesting, since I would love to see more VR content from my friends. Probably my friends also have a
Right.
360 degrees camera, probably, and they're getting cheaper and cheaper. Or you can simply make a dual, like a sphere with your mobile phone that you have right now. But it's tough to share
That's
it,
right.
right? You can share it,
That's right.
probably. You can share it on Facebook, but you can only consume this content still on your 2D screen. But with Vicarious, now you can finally share it, and you can have your friends also consume your VR content in VR, which I think is really cool. So basically, it's a bit
That's
like
right.
Instagram, but in VR.
That's right. And so, I think the challenge with VR today is that people, now is kind of the quote unquote trough of disillusionment, right? Everybody in 2016 was hyping really big numbers. Now that the Rift is out, now that the 5 is out, now that PlayStation is out, now that Daydream is out, now it's time for VR to go mainstream. The challenge here is that, not that, hey, is the technology accessible, or hey, is there enough quality content? I think there's a lot of quality content, but it's just built for a very specific group of people, early adopters and hardcore gamers. And if we're trying to make VR something that is mainstream, the content has to become more relevant to the average person. And so when we set out to do this, this was built on the notion of there's a mega trend in the world, right? Everybody is sharing more and more of themselves online, and we're going to see more and more of that. And this concept of being able to live through someone else, I think that's what a lot of people are doing on Instagram or on Snapchat, is that either you're curating your own personal brand, whether you know that or not, or you're on there and you're watching other people and aspiring to be like them, or keeping tabs on friends and family, and you're able to model these relationships in this sort of digital platform. And so for us, it's like, hey, let's take the most ubiquitous digital behavior, sharing photos and videos, and marry that with what is truly cool about VR, which is its ability to put you into the experience of someone else, right? Let's put those two concepts together and build a platform where people can create and share using the media that they have on their phone, mixing that with 360 photos if they have it, throwing text in there, throwing music in there, throwing narration, and help people express themselves in a new way on a new, different platform. And I think if you do that, I think it's more likely that the friends that I know that aren't geeky like me, that look at VR and say, oh, hey, that looks interesting, but there's no way. I don't care. Even if you told me it was free, I'll do it maybe once, but I'm not going to do it every day, go in there and kill zombies. But if I could see your life and you could see mine, I'd be interested in doing that for sure. So that's kind of why we're building the app in the way that we're doing it, and why we're building the product that we're building.
I think that makes a lot of sense, because the social aspect is what makes people stick to an app. Just like you said, okay, killing zombies in VR might be interesting for 1 or 2 game sessions, but then you're finished with it. But if I know, hey, my friends, they are pumping out the VR content about their lives on a daily basis, well, I'm totally going to go back to Vicarious, for example. So that's really
exactly right. I think it's just like, package all these elements, these digital elements. Oh, pardon me.
Yep.
Spam call. Package up all of these digital elements that people use to express themselves into a nice, usable form factor, and then let people share what they want to share. And I think what's cool about this is that it really allows for a sort of visual and emotional eloquence that, I could write 5,000 word article about how I'm feeling right now and post it on Medium, but that's hard to do. It's very difficult to do. It's very, I have to be a good writer. I have to take a lot of time to do that, but I could also just share, here's a 10-second clip of me talking, and I'm going to stick a sticker, a 3D animated emoji of me smiling, celebrating, or feeling sad. Within 10 seconds, you can have a feeling. You can share that feeling with me. And when you see this stuff in VR, it's fundamentally different. It's very different from just seeing the same video on your phone, because the way that we display the media back to the user in VR is different. It's big, number one. It's larger than life. When you consume it in VR, as the user, you have full engagement with that media. And it's a very intimate relationship that you have with the media. And I have control over your environment. I can add music to it. I can add a different 3D environment to it so that it has a very specific feeling. And all of these elements together really give people this ability to express themselves much more clearly and in a much faster way. And so that's what I think is truly cool about this. I thought at first it was just going to be, hey, let's let people share these photospheres, and that's cool. But having experimented, we think we've come up with a really nice first version that gives people the ability to combine these different elements together to express clearly what they're trying to express. And I think that's cool and fun and different and accessible. So we want to be quick, we want to be fun, we want to connect people and give people the platform where they can share the human experience, right? So I should be able to jump in and I should be able to experience what Sebastian's life is like. And Sebastian, you should be able to experience mine. And we should be able to see what Kanye West or Kylie Jenner or a Donald Trump supporter or a Black Lives Matter supporter is feeling and expressing and what their human experience is like. I think that's cool, and I think it's super powerful. I think it's scalable. It touches upon all of the things that, this guy Chris Milk talks about. He says that, he's famously quoted, VR is the empathy machine, right? And he went out and he shot this 360 video called Clouds Over Sidra. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, no.
It's very powerful. It's a 360 video. He did it in conjunction with his production company and the UN. And they took this 360 video camera and they followed a Syrian refugee. She's a young girl. Her name is Sidra. And they follow her. What is her typical daily life like? And it's very, very powerful. People, they took the video, showed it to a lot of people. They were able to raise a lot of money off of this video. And I watched that and I said, Chris Milk is right. This is the empathy machine. But what's missing here is the ability for Sidra to tell her story herself. It would be much cooler if it didn't require an entire production company. If Sidra could take the media that she captured with her phone and use her own voice to directly express what she is going through, I would be very fascinated with that. I would love to see that. I would love to be able to empower people to create and share their lives in VR, because we all share the human experience. I have mine and you have yours. Sidra has hers. And I have an idea of what your life could be like. I have an idea of what Sidra's life could be like. But to give people the tool to express themselves more clearly and to use this technology in this way, I think is a cool idea. And that's what I'm really trying to go for here is really giving people this platform to share the human experience so that we can better understand what we go through.
This is really cool, and I can just agree to what you said about the empathy and that you can feel more what another person's life is like. Just before I told you I was checking out your app for 15 minutes, and I checked your stream, and I checked one of your stories, and I think it's your children probably riding a horse, something like this.
Right.
And
so it's my two daughters and my nieces.
Okay, got it. And absolutely, you're right. It feels totally different as if I would just have watched this video in a Facebook stream in 2D. It's totally different. Like, okay, I'm standing there very close to your daughter, and she's riding the horse, and it looks so interesting. And yeah, simply I think giving people the tools to share in VR is fantastic. So let's now talk a bit more how exactly the app works, because you and me, obviously, we have tested it, but other people have no idea. So let me summarize it, and please tell me if I got that right in this 15 minutes. In these 15 minutes that I checked it out. So basically, the app, I can use it in 2D mode, just like a normal app. And in this app, I can add my own content in kind of stories. Well, we know stories from Instagram and Snapchat, of course. So basically, I can add pictures. But what's different now, I can also add 360 degrees photospheres and videos. And I can stitch them together into different pages. Like, let's say I'm uploading 6 photospheres. So this story will consist of 6 pages. And to each page, I can add text. I can add my comments, like, hey, here, this is me drinking a beer or whatever. And also I can change the mood by adding music clips to the whole thing.
That's right.
And
that's exactly right.
Okay, cool, perfect. That's exactly what I did then before. And then I would click on send the story, and then the thing is in Vicarious, and then all the people who follow me can see can see the story and check it out in VR or in 2D if they don't have a headset around them.
That's right. That's exactly right. The one caveat is that we limit everybody here in the beginning to 5-page stories.
Okay, good. Then not 6, then 5.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is very straightforward, easy to understand, and yeah, I just got it I understood the whole thing within a couple of minutes, and it was just about like creating, how to create. I tried to create within VR, but that didn't work. I had to create in 2D.
So in VR creation, we're just wrapping that up now, and the fundamental difference obviously is you're in VR. But when you actually start creating stories in VR, it's fun. This is the thing that I think will make people engage longer with their media, and you can be more considered with what you want to post and how you want to position certain things. And with the Daydream controller, you're going to be grabbing the text and moving it around and resizing it. You'll be doing the same thing with the stickers. And that's really, it's surprisingly fun. To be able to do the same thing in 2D is awesome because you can then do it much faster. Likely, I will probably be doing most of my posts from the 2D mode. But in VR, further down the road, we are going to, I don't want to reveal too much, but there are considerations that we're making about what is the difference between in VR creation and what is and outside in 2D mobile form. I think there will start to be something a little bit different, or something extra that you will get in VR when you create in VR. But the main thing that we're focusing on right now is to deliver a solid, usable app that has both in VR and in mobile 2D consumption and creation.
Great. I think it's cool that you can also create in 2D, because not always you're up to putting your headset on. Probably you're in a bus or what, and then you really don't want to create that story in VR. So it's good that you can still do it in 2D. However, it will also be great to also be able to do it in VR. And as you said, you're working on that right now. And probably when you launch, then it's going to be you will be able to do both.
Yeah, on launch it'll be the full a complete app,
full experience,
complete version 1, and you'll be able to do that in VR creation and 2D creation and consumption.
Okay, cool. Then about adding music, I was able to choose from lots of different music genres and lots of different clips, and I thought like, wow, this is like a very full experience already. I was very surprised. So I'm wondering, how did you get that great selection of music, and did you have to talk with the rights owners for every single clip, or how did you make it happen? It's like a lot of clips that I saw.
So there are a lot of available APIs that you can integrate with, and so we integrated with one of the service providers.
Got it. That makes sense.
And so for us, it's really about how do we make this as easy as possible. We want it to be as frictionless as possible, because you know, if you're going to create something, if I'm required to, I have to download my own music, and then I have to trim it, and then I have to integrate that into my post, it's like, oh man, I'm going to end up leaving the app.
Exactly.
I want to have everything available to you that you would think, hey, it would be cool if I could do this. We want it immediately at your fingertips, so you can just get in there, create, and start building your profile on Vicarious, and then start connecting with others. And so I think really our challenge is getting people to be aware of the app, and then for the individual user is to connect to other people. I think as soon as you start connecting to people that are relevant to you, the app becomes so much better. To see the people, when we've been testing, it's been my friends, my family, to see the people that I know and love on Vicarious, it's really, really cool. It's just like, wow. It's almost like, man, if you could experience if you could be in the room or in the place where all these people on Instagram are posting these things, and you could feel like you were there along for the ride, that's what Vicarious is doing. I'm really excited by how quickly you picked up on it. So I'm surprised. I thought, I didn't think we were going to do like a full interview right now. I thought I was going to be able to explain the app a little bit, and I wanted to do that. But I'm really so pleased that you picked it up, you completely understood what the app was about right out of the gate. I think it's a major win for me right now. Like my co-founder. Thank you so much. My co-founder is Alex, and Alex Chu, and I've known Alex for a number of years because he's my younger brother's best friend from college. And when I started pursuing, setting this thing up, and I wanted to build this experience sharing platform, I was pursuing it by myself, and I got a DK1 off of Craigslist. I looked at the Tuscany demo. I looked at some 360 images, some 360 videos, and thought, wow, this is really good for a dev kit. And I started pursuing it by myself. And then Google announced that they were doing Google Cardboard, and I said, wow, that's incredible. On a mobile phone, unbelievable. And then a couple of months, I think it was about a month or 2 months later, Samsung Gear VR gets announced. And I recall I had just seen Alex probably a year before because my brother had gotten married, we went to a bachelor party, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember Alex talking about, hey, he just joined Samsung. So I called Alex and said, hey, Alex, I'm working on this crazy idea. It's a VR project, and Samsung just announced this Gear VR. Do you know anybody on that team? Because I would love to get a hold of it and build something for mobile VR, because I think that's how people are going to get to, that's how we're going to get to 1 billion people in VR, mobile. It's going to come from the smartphone.
Absolutely.
And he says, you are crazy, because I'm on the team. I'm on the team that developed Gear VR here in Dallas at Samsung Research America, and I'm the lead designer for Milk VR. It was called Milk VR at the time, and he was their VR UI UX expert.
Perfect.
And I'm thinking, holy moly, the universe wants us to do this, man. So, long story short, he ends up leaving Samsung, comes out to San Francisco, and we start down this journey together, and it's really awesome. Now we're here getting ready to ship on Daydream, and just a lot of things have very, very fortuitously have come into place when we really needed them to come into place. And that was just one example, but there are many, many more that when we look back, we're like, wow, things just fell into place at the exact right time to get us to through the next speed gate. And you being able to pick up the app quickly is just a testament to how good Alex is at designing the UX and the UI. Together, we, had this concept. He says, tell me what you want to build. I start sharing with him. He says, that's a great idea. That's how I think of it. It's very different from the way other people in VR, when they think of social, they think of things like what Zuckerberg demos at Connect 3, where my avatar we'll talk to your avatar in a 3D world, and it's this synchronous communication platform. I think that's cool. I think it's going to be a part of VR, certainly, but it's not going to be the thing that gets everybody in the world into VR, because that paradigm, we have a paradigm like that right now. It's FaceTime, it's Skype, it's this call, right?
Yeah.
But while this is really cool, I'm not Skyping or FaceTiming with my friends every day.
Not at all.
Every day is on Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram or Twitter. Asynchronous, user-generated content, social media platforms have penetrated the entire globe. And so when I think of it, I think, wait, why wouldn't a social media platform built for VR be one of the things that makes VR immediately relevant to everybody? And we see the same thing, Alex and I, and we're, charging down this path, and we're excited to see where this goes. And that's I'm rambling. So
it makes so much sense what you're talking about, and please do send my best greetings to Alex, your CTO, probably your co-founder. He is
head of product and design.
Okay, yeah, he has done really a very good job on the UI. I could very easily understand it, post the story,
That's awesome.
and I think it's really well done.
Thank you so much. I
yeah,
really appreciate it.
It's cool, very cool. So the big question now: when will it launch?
So we are shipping to Google. We're launching on Daydream first, and then there is the approval process that we go through. But we have the 31st targeted as our the app's ready, ship it, and then we go through the process with Google. So hopefully by mid-April it's in the store and ready to download.
Perfect, great. I think lots of people are going to love it and look forward to that date when they can download it. I'm lucky because I can already use it and check it out. And if it's okay for you, I would even do a hands-on of the beta and to show it to the Daydream District viewers, even though it's not online yet. Or
cool. Maybe wait for the milestone build.
Okay,
and that way
sure.
You can demonstrate the in VR creation.
Okay.
I think that way it'll be a better app.
Of course, no problem. Just tell me when you give your green light, and then I will make a video for the Daydream District viewers to see Vicarious. Cool.
Awesome.
So mid of April, people can look forward to check out Vicarious on Daydream VR. And tell me, on what other platforms are you going to launch? I mean, I think on the long run you want it to be on all the platforms, on all the VR platforms. So right. What is your game plan for that?
Yeah, so the game plan is to, we will launch on Daydream, and then as quickly as possible, we will port to Gear VR. And then after that, we will port to non-Daydream Android devices and iOS devices. And at that stage, I think, because of the hybrid nature of the app, and because you're able to create from mobile, I think we'll really start to see an explosion of content when we get to the non-Daydream Android and the iOS builds, because that's where most people are right now. And then we will start to see a transition into people being more into the VR portion of it. People will become, they'll upgrade their phones to a Daydream Android phone. And then while it will work with iOS devices, let's wait and see what Apple comes up with. And if they come up with a VR style device, we will port to that as well. But we want to remain accessible. That's our thing. We got to be as accessible as possible.
Got it. So for iOS, it would be like a cardboard style, or would it only be 2D?
It would be a cardboard style app. Yeah.
Great. So tell me, why did you choose Daydream first and not, for example, Gear VR first? Because I think the install base on Gear VR is still higher than on Daydream VR.
Yeah, so Gear VR, we were building on Gear VR first. That's where our initial product was built on. And when Google announced Daydream, it was really exciting to us because Daydream is built into the Android SDK natively, and then they have support from when they announced last May, I think they said, oh, we have support from Huawei, LG, Xiaomi, Huawei, Axon, all of these devices, right? Motorola. And I said, okay, wait a second. Number one, they're with Android. That's big time across all handsets. Number two, they have a controller. At the time, Gear VR didn't have a controller. One of the challenges that we faced was trying to explain to people how to take this paradigm and how that translates to what they're seeing in front of them, and that was a challenge. So we built for Daydream and want to launch on Daydream because number one, of the controller, and number two, because we think that there will likely be more Daydream devices over the next 1-2 years than there will be Gear VR devices, just because it applies to multiple handsets.
Got it. Very good. Cool. Yeah, Daydream is going to be huge. Even though now we're still in the very beginning, not many phones are having it, but there's going to be so many phones in the future who will be able to run Daydream. There's no question about it. That this
every phone, every flagship phone today, 2 years from now, is kind of like the entry level phone.
Exactly.
So it's like, of course you have to start with Daydream.
Exactly. That's a good point. Great. So now let's talk a bit more about you and your how you started with Vicarious. You already told us a bit about it. Can you tell us again, how did you get to this idea to make an app, a social media app, a social platform for VR? How did you get the idea? And then the next question would be, what do you see? What is your vision for Vicarious in 5 years from now? Where do you see it in this whole landscape?
Okay. So the idea for Vicarious. So I grew up reading a lot of science fiction, and I became a big fan of it. More in high school, where I actually took a science fiction class and started, thinking about. I used to just think, oh, these are cool stories, and then I started thinking more analytically about them. And then I started watching a lot of science fiction movies. And in the 90s, there was this movie called Strange Days.
Oh my goodness, I love Strange Days. It's incredible.
Okay.
One of my favorite movies.
Yeah, okay. And so this is the inception for Vicarious, right? You're downloading other people's experiences into your brain, and then you're simulating, you're reliving that experience. And I remember watching that movie and saying, wow, that's really fascinating. I hope that technology is invented in my lifetime, because I would love to be able to do that. And so, I continue with my life for many, many years, and I then see this Oculus Kickstarter, and I see it and I say, hey, that looks cool, but that probably doesn't work. VR never works, so I dismiss it. And around the same time, I see this one of the first spherical cameras, Panopticam. I think they had an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter, and this guy threw the camera up into the air and reached its apex and snapped a photo. And at the time, he was moving his tablet around, magic window style. And I remember seeing that and saying, hey, that would be cool I bet if you looked at that photo with the Rift, it would probably feel like you were standing in the middle of that.
Hello? I think the connection... Yeah, no problem. We just lost the connection.
Okay, so I get curious about the campaign. I see that they eclipsed their goal, and I say, hey, that's unbelievable. I'm going to try and get one. Obviously, they were already sold out of all of their dev kits. So I said, the next best thing, I got on Craigslist and bought one. Then I brought it home and downloaded, I did the Tuscany demo, and then I did some 360 photos and videos, and it was just like, oh my God, the world's about to change. Immediately I said, this is too good for a dev kit for this not to have some kind of impact? So I start, thinking about my idea, and I say, okay, well, look, I love Instagram. I think it's really cool. I think there's an opportunity here to embrace this kind of media and to create this whole new experience sharing platform. I want to do this. I want to build this. And so from there, I just start going and making my way towards figuring out how to do this, start building a demo with some contractors, and then end up teaming up with Alex, and then stuff just came together really, really well. And now we're here, so ready to launch.
Perfect.
5 years from now, I just don't know what 5 years would be like, right? I think there's a lot of people that talk about it's hard to calculate exponential growth and to imagine that. And I'm sort of in that position now, because when I look back every 6 months, the previous 6 months kind of feels like caveman days, right? And so if in VR at least, right? And so
yes.
if I think about what's going to happen 6 months from now, and then 6 months after that, 6 months after that, and 6 months after that, it's almost like, wow, the potential here really is quite large. But generally speaking, what I think what I'm hopeful for at least is that we will be able to kind of stake out our territory in VR as, hey, the social media platform in VR is Vicarious. And as we grow, we get more users on there. They're reading and sharing more. Additional features that we already have planned out, a very detailed roadmap about what additional things we want to add to our app to make it more fun and give people more abilities in VR. But I think in the short term, we're going to have to listen to a lot of what the community has to say and what feedback they give to us, because I think social platforms, the most important thing is the community. I think learning from the community and integrating what the community has to say into the product is important. I don't want to just build what I think is cool. I need to listen to people too. But we'll grab all these people. I think, our app is built in Unity. It ports really well to all the other devices, all the other platforms. It ports really well to AR platforms. And so I think 5 years from now, we'll be on both VR and the AR platforms. I think, at some point down the road, it's going to be one device that does both VR and AR. But I really hope to be something like Instagram or like Snapchat, and to be able to build a great company like that. That's what we want to do. We want to connect everybody in the world in VR, and
perfect.
Connect everybody through the sharing the human experience. I think
that's really a cool vision, and I wish you all the best of luck for this, so that in 5 years you can invite me to your mansion somewhere.
I'll definitely do that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Testers, so that'll be a cool story to look back on.
That would be a cool story, and then we'll look again at this interview here, and we'll think like, wow, awesome, you did it. That would be very cool.
That would be awesome. I hope that is in our future. I'm visualizing that. So
yeah, it could happen. Why not? Why not?
Why not? Exactly. Why not?
I'm thinking like now is the perfect time for you to start and to claim your stake of this whole VR part. And if you can position yourself as this social sharing app in VR right now, why not? There's no other one who's doing this right now. Of course, Facebook and Instagram, they are coming too. But I can still remember, Instagram, what they did, you could also do on Facebook. You could also share pictures on Facebook when Instagram started, right? But they just did it better. So if you can now make an awesome, perfect app that will do the stuff that you're doing better than what they will be able to do, why not? Why not become a second Instagram and, I don't know, sell yourself to Facebook or whatever?
I think so. I mean, it's fun. The most important thing here, I think, is that our approach isn't to make I don't want to say, hey, we're a better Instagram, because Instagram is awesome. You're not going to make a better Instagram, but I am going to make something different. And I think that is the fundamental key here, is that we are building something that is truly fundamentally different. And when you build something that's different, that behind it has this really big opportunity with it, it's like you now have the opportunity to be a category defining company. And when you have that opportunity to build out a new category, then you're doing all these other things too. If you're lucky enough to become the leader in that category, then it's up to you to design the category. What are the rules? People are looking to know, well, what are the interactions like? What works, what doesn't work? That would be up to the category leader. And that's the kind of opportunity that is exciting to me, because a lot of people will tell me, hey, what you're doing is like, that's really hard. I've heard that from a number of people, like, Facebook could do that. And likely they'll try to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
To me, that's an awesome opportunity. If in people's head immediately they say Facebook will see this and want to copy it or feel threatened by it, that they will want to do something and destroy. Well, to me, that sounds like a really big opportunity. So I'm going to go and attack and try, and do this with relentless conviction. And at the end of the day, I tried. At least I tried. That's fundamentally what an entrepreneur should be doing, is relentless pursuit of the vision that they have in their head. And that's what Alex and I are trying to do, and the rest of the team here at Vicarious are trying to do.
Perfect. I mean, we're totally on the same page here. Incredible. So tell us a bit more about your startup. So how many people? It's you and Alex, and there's still some more people?
So it's me and Alex. Yeah, so it's me and Alex, and Hal is doing our back end. And then we have artist contractor, and we have some Unity developer contractors working with us too to help sort of speed up the process. So it's a small team, and we've raised a little bit of money, but part of having this entrepreneurial background and being the child of my parents, it's been pretty much hammered into my head from a young age, not to spend more money than you really have, and to really be able to budget things out and make things last. We're a small team trying to build as best a product as we can by spending the least amount of money possible. And so I'm really proud of what we've been able to put together here, because it started out just as an idea, and now here we are. Like, I'm talking to you. I didn't think I would be doing an interview prior to launch and have the product even resonate without me talking about it. And I feel, it's awesome. It just feels really, really great. So
perfect.
Me, Hal, and Alex are the full-time guys, and we have 3 contractors.
Great. So it seems like you're following the lean startup model very much, trying to...
Yeah, as far as I understand the lean startup model. Yeah. If it means extend your runway as much as possible,
exactly,
and attack every day, then yeah.
Cool, very nice. So in the startup life cycle now, you said you did raise a little bit money. How long is your runway, and are you looking to raise anytime soon?
So runway-wise, when I built this company, part of what I always said to people early on when in the interview is that I need you to be fully engaged with this. If salary is something that is at the top of your mind, sure, we all need to be able to live, right? And not be too worried about things. But the main goal here is to really create a great company. And while we have money, we've been able to raise money, the most important thing is to know, hey, are you here on a mission, or are you a mercenary? I want people that are on a mission to deliver this vision and to deliver the product. And so for that reason, I feel like, because we feel like we're running downhill here, and we have a very clear vision of where we're going, our runway is actually as long as we want it to go, because there could be no money, and we are going to keep doing this because we can see so much opportunity. So that's how much runway we have. That's the way I look at that.
Perfect.
If we're talking about are we going to raise another round? Yeah, we will raise another round, because there are a lot of things that we want to accomplish that will require building up a bigger team, and we really want to bring in the A players, the guys that really can get things done as quickly as possible, and that's you know, once you get to a certain stage, it's like, hey, if you can get money from somebody on Sand Hill Road that really believes in what you're doing, then fantastic. If they're going to help us build a great company, then I would love to talk to them, whether that's from Sand Hill Road or from anybody else. I'm looking for, if we are going to raise money, it's going to be an investor that really believes that this team is the team to do it, that is going to stick around in good times and in bad, and will make us smarter. You know, money is money. There have been people who have tried to write us a check that just I didn't click with, or it was like, well, what are you going to do for us beyond give us money? And it was like, well, it's just money. And that's not really my ideal investor. My ideal investor is somebody who is going to help us achieve what we're trying to achieve. You know, we think we're smart here, but we also know that we see there are a lot of blind spots. And so we want to get other people that will complement the skill set and the way that we think here, so that we can mitigate against all of the risks. Because that's how I think you're more likely to succeed. You lay out and you understand everything that could possibly derail this thing, and then you do everything you can to mitigate against those risks. So those, whether it's an investor or an advisor or whoever it is, or the next guy that comes onto the team, we just want to be constantly getting better as a team.
Of course. And for raising money and finding advisors, you are perfectly located, right? You're located in San Francisco, so
yep.
There should be lots of opportunities to network with advisors and, of course, with VC and the money. Perfect. That is incredible. Great. So to all the viewers, you can look forward to Vicarious on Daydream VR. The launch is going to be in mid of April if everything goes according to plan. But it seems like you are on a very good way according to the beta version that I already saw and tested just now. And the social app, the first social app for Daydream VR that lets you share and post your life with your friends or with strangers in VR. It has been a total pleasure to speak with you, JM. I'm looking forward to speak with you again on the road. Whenever you have another milestone, I'll be really happy to speak with you and tell our readers about where Vicarious is at now. So everybody who is watching it, go and download Vicarious once it's online in the store, mid of April. But of course, I will do another video once it's there. Thank you so much,
awesome.
JM.
Thanks so much, Sebastian. It's a real pleasure.